Hello friends, I'm Jay Agbon. You must be here for my comedy special, Responsible Child. Thank you for clicking. This has just been a love letter, something I've been working on the last 8 years, to people like me, the late 20s, early 30-year-olds who still have to call their mom to schedule their doctor's appointment. You know, we just need a little extra help. Still, thank you so much for clicking. I hope you have a good time. Enjoy the show. How's that?
That was okay.
Alright. How much time do we have?
Like a minute and 20 seconds?
So, I gotta get on stage?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta say that shit before fucking hit. Jesus fucking Christ.
Jay, your key.
What?
Please put your hands together for Jay Agbon!
It was raining today, which I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like the rain. It was a nice reprieve. It's been very nice weather, which I enjoy. But the rain is glorious for me today because I'm so happy to see something stopping the white people from jogging in my neighborhood. Y'all do be jogging no matter what. Y'all kind of jog like mailmen, just rain, sleet, snow, shine. It don't matter. You gonna hit some pavement, you know. I would like to say, let me preface this. You won't hear a lot of jokes about white people. I'm black. It is what it is. I'm not here to pick on white people, sir. I'm not here. I want you to know some of my best friends are white, or whatever it is racist people say. Honestly, I think right now is the hardest time to be white in all of American history. I think right now is the hardest time to be white in all of American history, because right now white people have the unfortunate, they unfortunately keep finding out they have racist relatives on Facebook, and that has to be devastating, you know what I mean? White people getting unmasked on Facebook like Scooby-Doo villains. You pull the Klan mask off, it was your Aunt Deborah the entire time. Meanwhile, she's in the back like, and I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids and that mangy mutt. And you're like, Aunt Deborah, that is your nephew. You can't call him a mutt just because your sister married a black man. Okay. All right. Oh. It's okay. You laughed at it before you knew where it was going. We're all going to hell together, okay? Oh, man, this is fine. I'm 30, guys. Thank you. That's the biggest woo I've gotten for 30 ever. 30 is just one sad breath. That's all it's been. 30 is interesting, man. I've learned a lot about myself at 30. I've learned you can't do a lot of the things you used to appreciate doing in your 20s once you hit 30. Like, one of the things I've had to learn to give up and step a bit back on is brunch. Man, I had to give up, which is a shame because in DC, brunch is a contact sport. Some of y'all look like D1 All-Stars right now. You were drafted by Alabama's brunch program, weren't you, ma'am? And so I did. I remember, like, in my early 20s, I used to look forward to getting drunk on Saturday nights, waking up Sunday morning, getting a little hair of the dog, some bottomless mimosas, feel right as rain. Now that I'm 30, bottomless mimosas is a threat. I recently went to brunch with some friends. They were like, yeah, man, this place got bottomless mimosas. I was like, but we can stop, right? Like, I know it says bottomless, but we ain't got to drink bottomless. And now that, yeah, like in my 30s, I've learned that, like, any sport you weren't doing in your 20s, you can't start doing it in your 30s, right? Ain't no importing new sports to your 30s, okay? Like, for example, in my 20s, I never played basketball, right? I know I'm black, sir, hear me out. I just didn't have the hand-eye coordination for it. I don't really like it. But now that I'm 30, I do have a lot of friends that, to stay healthy, they love playing basketball, you know, because I'm black, sir, keep up. And they're always like, yo, let's go to the court, let's play some pickup. Let's go play some pickup. And I got to be like, we can go to the court. Only thing I'm picking up is my ACLs off that court, okay? I ain't got it no more, right? Even the way I listen to music has changed. I'm a big Drake fan. Any Drake fans in here? Yeah. I love Drake. And I remember he used to have this song where he was like, I do not chase these hoes, but these bitches, they run a mile for me. And in my early 20s, I used to hear that, and I'd be like, yeah, Drake, you tell them, we don't chase these hoes. Yeah, right? Now that I'm 30, I'm closer to the age he was when he wrote it. I know what he meant. I'm like, yeah, Drake, of course you don't chase these hoes, you're 30, your knees click. You ain't got the lateral movement, king. It ain't the same no more. That's funny. Things you learn at 30, people treat you different when you hit this age, right? Like, for example, my parents, they started treating me different. As soon as I hit 30, my parents decided that was the perfect age to start telling me family secrets, right? But pretending I knew that shit the whole time. Like last holidays, I was in the kitchen with my mom. She drops this gem on me. She's like, yeah, it's like that time your Aunt Bertha went to prison. And I was like, excuse me? Do you mean Pastor Aunt Bertha? What did she go to prison for? She's like, well, didn't you ever wonder what happened to your Uncle Tom? I was like, no. You told me he died in Vietnam. She's like, yes, but I didn't tell you who killed him. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Who are you? It's funny, man. Being like, even now at this age, I've learned, like, whenever I go home, I have been elevated at the age of 30, finally, to sitting at what's called the adults table. Like, whenever I go home for Christmas, Thanksgiving, any family gathering. And I like being at the adults table. There are some things that come with sitting at the adults table, though, right? Like, now I have to do shit whenever because at the kids table, you could just watch TV and enjoy living, right? And now at the adults table, I have to do things. They ask me to do things, right? I'm in kitchen duty, right? I gotta help cook and clean. And I don't mind helping my grandma and my mom cook and clean. That's not the problem. My thing is, sir, I don't know what you know about black family recipes, but let me educate you. Okay, we don't use standard units of measurements in our recipes, okay? So now I'm 30 trying to figure out how many teaspoons fit into a dollop of something, what exactly a squig is. I looked at one of the recipes, I swear to God, it said stop when the ancestors tell you to. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't know these niggas had T-Mobile. How am I supposed to get in contact with them, you know? And it's like, one of the main things that bothers me about it is that it's the people that have replaced me at the kids' table, right? And I want to clarify. I don't hate all kids. I just hate those kids, right? Kids aren't all assholes, but those kids definitely are, you know? Like, I don't have it's not like I see 12-year-olds like, square up, little nigga. It's just my little 12-year-old nephew, though. We've done it a couple times. Like, they're monsters. Kids are monsters. Like, for example, my little 12-year-old nephew, last time I was home, over the holidays, I'm in the kitchen with him and his mom, my aunt, and she's talking to him, and she's like, yeah, you know your Uncle Jay, he's a comedian. This motherfucker gonna look at me and be like, how? It's not like he's funny. Wait a minute. I will beat the shit out of you, son. What are you going to do, though? He's 12, right? 12-year-olds aren't impressed by anything, right? I know for me personally, when my 12-year-old self wasn't impressed by anything, my 12-year-old self wouldn't be impressed by who I've turned into today. Okay, sir, do you think your 12-year-old self would be impressed with who you've turned into? Exactly. No 12-year-old wants to grow up to be an accountant at Deloitte. And, you do got the button-up, sir. I don't know what to tell you. No, I know for a fact my 12-year-old self wouldn't be impressed by who I've turned into today. I know this for a fact because recently I took shrooms and met the nigga, and he was pissed. He was showing up to Chick-fil-A on a Sunday angry. He was just like, Jay, what the fuck happened? I was like, I don't know, man. I went to college, started fucking white girls. It's been downhill ever since. Oh, man. Being this age is wild, man. Like, even my fears have changed at 30, right? Like, in my early 20s, I think my fears were a lot. Like, my fears were being 30, right? Like, in my 20, 21, 22, I'm looking at 30. I was terrified. I'm like, I'm going to be 30. I'm going to be old. I'm going to live in the suburbs in a house I own with my wife and 2 kids, working at a job, making 6 figures, but hate everything. And now, at 30, I know all of that is a pipe dream I'll never achieve. You know what I mean? But I think my fears are a lot more realistic now at 30. Like, my current overarching fear is that I'm slowly turning into my parents, right? And I think that's a common fear for people our age, right? Like late 20s, early 30s, because you can find yourself doing things the way your parents used to do it or saying things the way your parents used to say them. Like me, I got a Nigerian dad, right? And if you don't know nothing about having a Nigerian dad, first of all, I'm so sorry. You should fix that if you can. But secondly, the thing you got to know about having a Nigerian dad is that when they speak to you, they always speak to you as if they're reading to you from a thesaurus. They always gotta overemphasize something, make it super elegant for no reason, right? Like whenever I go home, it's not like, oh, we're glad you came home. It's like, we are very pleased to be blessed by your appearance. Look at my son, he has returned from gallivanting across this nations. What? I remember I called him once. I was like, hey, Pops, can you float me $50 to the end of the week? I'll pay you back once I get paid at the end of the week. And he was like, has poverty become popular recently, my son? The fuck does that mean, Pops? What does that mean? Growing up, he used to do this thing, like whenever I would make him mad or disappoint him, he wouldn't beat me. Well, he beat me sometimes, but he wouldn't beat me. What he'd do is he'd look at me, give me this look, and he'd be like, what's a pity or spectacle? All right? You ever have to look in a dictionary to realize how bad somebody insulted you? I had to break it down like hooked on phonics. I was just like, piteous, something sad, spectacle, something to look at. He called me something sad to look at. And that shit used to haunt me because he said for everything, right? If I was late, pity or spectacle. If I got a B in class, pity or spectacle. Just everywhere. It used to haunt me. So imagine my horror. 3 weeks ago, I'm walking down the street. I see this lady walking her dog on the sidewalk. The dog just take a shit in the middle of the sidewalk, and they walk off and leave it there. And before I could stop myself from the bottom of my soul, I was just like, what's a pity or spectacle? No! No, Jesus, not like this. It's crazy. When I turned 30, my mom called me to wish me a happy birthday, which was very nice of her. It was very kind of her. I love talking to my mom. During the conversation, though, she was like, now that you're 30 and an adult, and I had to stop her. I was like, hold on. I am not an adult, okay? I am a responsible child, okay? The most adult thing about me is that my Spotify happens to be on autopay. That's it. $12 a month. That's all I can do for you, Mom. I don't want to be an adult, okay? I think we can all agree in here being an adult is a fucking scam, right? Yeah, it's a scam, and I don't like how they got us. When we were kids, we looked at the adults in our lives, our parents and our teachers, and they looked like they were having the time of their lives. They were staying up late, going out, drinking. We didn't know they were drinking to make the sadness go away. That's what shit. I'm just saying, if my mom had explained taxes, I would have appreciated nap time more, you know? It is. It's all the stuff that, like, when I was a kid and I saw my parents do that I was so jealous of, I thought it represented freedom. I grew older and realized all of that shit sucked, right? I used to get mad. I used to get mad and get in arguments with my parents, and I used to be like, I can't wait till I move out of here. I'm gonna get my own place under my own roof, and then I discovered what rent was. You know what I mean? I grew up in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house that I shared the second bathroom with one other person, and that was for free. And now, at 30, I live in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house that I share the bathroom with another person for $1,000. It's a scam. I remember my mom used to work long days, come home, and be like, I'm gonna cook dinner. And I used to be so angry. I was like, no, I want McDonald's. And she would look at me and be like, do you have McDonald's money? And I remember being so angry, being like, I'm gonna fucking get some McDonald's money. I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna get McDonald's money, I'm gonna eat McDonald's every fucking day. And now I have a job, I'm 30, and once every blue moon, I pay $845 to Uber to deliver McDonald's. And all I've learned is, it turns out, she was right, I don't have McDonald's money. Mom, you won that argument. I don't know what to tell you, you know, I can't do it. There's some stuff they don't tell you about being a quote-unquote adult, man. I remember, you know, you want freedom and money as a kid. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get a job. A job seems like so great. It's freedom, right? It is the epitome of freedom. But they don't tell you about all the dumb shit that comes with your job. They don't tell you don't have to put up with people, right? Like, at my job, they told us the other day, we had a team meeting, they told us we're gonna have to start going into the office starting next month. Right? Here's the thing. I don't mind going into the office. My whole thing is just, I fucking hate my job. I hate that shit. I hate it. And I'm not one of these bandwagon job haters that started hating their job during the pandemic. Oh no, I've been hating my job, you know what I mean? I'm an OG job hater. I hated my job BC, before COVID. And I knew I hated my job when they had to ask me to stop sighing so depressively loud in the office, because I was bringing down company morale, you know what I mean? I have a bunch of reasons I hate my job. I'll tell y'all some. One of them is because I work for the news, right? And when you work for the news, you always see dumb news articles come across your desk. Like once I saw this news article, it was about this police officer in Michigan who had gotten fired because his fellow police officers found a KKK application on top of his desk. Yeah. And when I read that, the only thing I could think was, I didn't know these niggas had an application process, you know? I thought you could just hate black people for free to get in. Meanwhile, they out here answering interview questions like, sir, can you tell us one thing that's held you back in life? And he's like, the blacks. What? Unacceptable, sir. Unacceptable. You see dumb news. Like, I remember once we were covering a State Department briefing, and our national security advisor was on television. And he was talking to journalists. He was telling them about Russia and Ukraine. He was talking about how Russia was losing in Ukraine. They were taking losses. And he said Russia's national television is going to start masking their losses. They're going to start masking their losses on their national television service. And then he changed it. He said they're going to start downplaying their losses. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why he changed mask to downplay until I realized that they didn't want the national security advisor on national television equating the word mask to something negative. And when I was like, they can't think Americans are that fucking stupid, can they? And then I thought about it. And I remember that once I was hanging out with one of my homeboys, and we were just hanging out. We weren't smoking weed or anything. We were just hanging out. And out of nowhere, this man looks at me and says, yo, Jay, you know, pigeons aren't real. And I was like, you are a dumbass. You are why they changed mask to downplay, right? Then he started hitting me with facts to prove his thesis. He was like, listen, bro, hear me out. You ever seen a baby pigeon? I was like, hold the fuck on, wait a minute. I've never seen a baby pigeon. Wait a minute, wait. Then he hit me with fact number 2. He was like, listen, you ever seen an old pigeon? I was like, I've never seen a gray hair on any one of these motherfuckers. Then he hit me with a haymaker to want to really prove his thesis. He was like, pigeons are birds, right? I was like, for sure. He was like, they fly, right? I was like, indubitably. He was like, then why do they walk everywhere? I was like, oh shit! You gotta stop talking, man. The government finna come shut you up, bro. You know, but you let someone talk long enough, they're gonna make themselves sound stupid. All of a sudden, he was like, you know, pigeons brought crack to the hood in the 80s. I was like, stop talking. Stop, this is why they changed mask to downplay, sir. Please stop talking. Same dude, we were having a conversation later on, and I have to stop and express here, my friend was white, and I'm not saying that to bully anyone. We were just talking about white people shit like ghosts and aliens. And he's trying to express to me the idea of ghosts. He's like, so you're telling me you don't believe in ghosts? You've never seen a ghost, man? You've never had a paranormal experience? You've never seen a ghost? And I was like, nah, I don't really go where they be at. I'm not for them. Because here's the thing about ghosts. Most ghosts are usually dead people from the past, which means they are racist. And I don't need that energy in my life. That's why we die in every horror movie, sir. I'm not about it. It's fine. Just dumb news articles, man. Number one reason I hate my job, I'll be honest with you. Number one reason I hate my job is because I have one of those happy at 8 a.m. bosses. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that show up early in the morning. Hi! You're like, bitch, I haven't had coffee yet. You know what I mean? My boss, her name is Kelsey, and before you ask, yes, she is. Kelsey the type, now that we work from home, we be in Zoom meetings, she'll pop in and be like, hey guys, can you turn on your camera so we can see your lovely faces? Yeah, it's like, can you suck my dick? That's the energy I'm bringing to work today, you know? Fuck you. I remember one morning she showed up happy as shit for no reason, back in the day, back in the BC. She showed up just happy as shit to the office for no reason. Hey, good morning, Jay. Good morning, Jay. Good morning. Guess what, Jay? Guess what? I was like, what? She was like, I took my 23andMe test. I got the results back. Guess where I'm from, Jay? Guess. And I was like, I don't know, Vermont. Where do white people come from? Turns out she couldn't be deterred. So we looked at the results. It turns out that she was 70% from Western Europe, 10% from Eastern Europe, 10% from Southern Europe, and if you've done your math right, that is 90%, because there was this magical 10% that was from West Africa. Yeah, I heard that, and I was like, damn, slavery got you too, huh? It's hard out here in these streets. Happy Black History Month, though, you know? But she was effervescent. She was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I have African in me, I'm African. I have black in me, I'm black. And I was like, time out. Two things about that. First of all, still can't say the N-word. Or at least no more than 10%. So we can give you the N, shawty, but that's all we can do for you. Secondly, and this is the most important part, let's not pretend this is the first time you've had black in you. Listen, if you knew Kelsey like I knew Kelsey, okay? Don't judge me, I had to get promoted somehow. Keep the judgment out your voice. Great thing about that joke is I've been doing this 8.5 years, right? And first time, real quick story. First time I headlined at my home club in Dallas. I was like headlining, I'm so excited, and that's my big joke. So I'm gonna close on that joke. And unbeknownst to me, my parents had decided to come support me at my first headlining night. So I'm rocking, crowds laughing, kind of like you were, a little bit better, but no worries. And I'm just lightning from the hands, killing them. And I get to the end and I tell that joke, and the crowd goes wild. They're laughing. It's all good. And then silence kind of settles over the crowd as I'm about to, wrap it up. And just from the middle of the darkness, all I hear is, what's a pitiable spectacle? No! He's everywhere! Oh, fuck. It's great, man. That's 30 for you. I will say there are some things about being like this age that I really enjoy, though, right? Like after 30 long years, 29 is when I met her, but like after so long, I finally got in a committed relationship, which is something they never tell you. Thank you. That's one of the things about being an adult that works. Sometimes you end up meeting some people, meeting someone, and it works out for you, and that's really fantastic. Because let me tell you, I was single for a long time, and we got single people in here. Yeah, y'all be safe out there. That shit is rough, B. I couldn't do it. Please don't send me back. I wouldn't want to be single. I know I have enough single friends that tell me about all the dating apps and stuff like that. That shit sounds horrible to me. You know what I mean? Like, sir, you said you're single. Do you be using what I like to call the triangle of sadness apps? You know what I'm talking about? Hinge, Bumble, Tinder. Yeah. If you don't realize what I mean Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, because if you use one of those three, you're gonna be sad. You know what I mean? I used to be on all three of them before I met my girl. I used to be on all three of the apps. I liked Hinge is, the high class one is the best one. It's for people who like to pretend they don't like to fuck on the first date. That was good. That's a classy one, I was on Bumble too. I was out here. Bumble's the one where women have to reach out to men first, and I'm all for that. Go woohoo feminism, all of that. Here's my problem with Bumble though. Here's my problem is that, ladies, I'm so sorry, but y'all don't know how to send the first message. It's not your fault, patriarchy was in charge for too long, but y'all be sending shit like, hey, with a period. Listen, I don't know if you took English 1, but that's called a decorative statement. According to the rules of English, that's the end of the conversation. I couldn't follow anything up with that if I wanted to, I was on Tinder for the longest though. Tinder, I used to be what I like to call a Tinder warrior, which is a nice way of saying I was a whore. And I was on Tinder just swiping right, trying to find me a match, trying to find somebody to love me, as it were. Until one day I got a message back as if I had matched with someone, but it wasn't a match message. What it was a message that said, hey, we've noticed that the person you swipe right on has been very popular recently. They've been receiving a lot of matches. Would you like to swipe up and super like this person so that your potential match stands out amongst all the matches that they have received. Which I thought was a really fucked up way for Tinder to be like, listen, my nigga, we think you're a little bit too ugly to swipe right on this girl right here. You need to step your game up. But they were right. Fuck them though, fuck them. I think no matter what app you use, I think boy or girl, we all have the same complaints, right? Right, no matter where you are, it's always 3 people in the first photo. And it's never the one you want, you know? If you're, it's always on the far left or the far right. If you're a dude, the girl's profile always reads the same, right? So it's like University of Maryland, 16. Your mom's new favorite girlfriend, cat mom. 2 things about that. First of all, you don't know my mom, keep her name out your fucking mouth. Secondly, you're not a cat mom, you're a cat owner. There's a difference, okay? Because cat mom means you love it, it loves you, parent-child relationship, okay? Cat owner, which is what you are, means you love it and like to pretend it loves you back. Slave owner relationship. So now we got a Thomas Jefferson, Sally Hemings thing going on. So I felt some of y'all pull back on that. Like, oh my God, Jay, you can't call cats slaves. First of all, I'm black, yes I can. Secondly, let's look at the evidence, shall we? Okay. We take away and sell their children. We give them our last names, and if they run away, we put up signs that say wanted and pay people to bring them back to us. Matter of fact, when they run away, you know what we say? We say they're escaping, like they're going north or something. Oh, listen, all I'm saying is some of y'all are gonna go home tonight, open your door a little bit too wide, your cat's gonna come running towards you, you're gonna reach down, grab it by the stomach and be like, where are you going? No Underground Railroad for you, Harriet Fluffman. You got a cat, don't you? She's got her arms kind of. It's all right. Thankfully, I'm no longer on the dating apps. I have a thank you. Shouts out, thank you. Fuck the rest of y'all. He supports me now. I'm no longer on the dating apps. I have a girlfriend. I'm finally settled down. I'm dating a nice hiking white. Before you judge me, here's the thing. She's not, look at him, he looked at his girlfriend, she's like, I'm not a hiking white. Classify her better, sir. That's funny. Here's the thing, before you even judge me, she's not even white. She's Japanese and Jewish, or as my mom's likes to say, white. And, she is a hiker, though. She likes hiking, camping, other white people shit. And she's always asking me to do that stuff with her, and I have to explain to her, I'm black. We don't survive those horror movies, you know? But I love her. So for her birthday, we recently planned a day hike. We went out to the mountains of Shenandoah. We went hiking. It was a nice time. I survived to the end of the horror movie, sir. There was an incident, though, on the way back. Here's what happened. So we stopped to get gas, and she went in to pay for the gas because I'm a gentleman. And while she was paying for the gas, I look out the left the window, and I see this car whip into the gas station. And in the back window of the car, there was a Confederate flag hanging. Now listen, like I said, I'm from the South. I'm from Texas. I've seen Confederate flags my whole life. That shit don't bother me. No, the thing that caused me issue was that the car that the flag was in was a Toyota Prius. Now listen, I'm not here to judge nobody's life decisions, but you can't be in environmental consequences, you know? You gotta pick a struggle. You can't be like, we gonna save the planet, but only for the whites. What? Absolutely not. Reprehensible. It is funny. I am very glad to have met my girlfriend when I did. We met on an app. We met through an app. The app was called Uber. That's a true story. We met in an Uber pool. We met in an Uber pool back in 2019. I got in. I was very drunk. I was belligerently drunk. She got in. It was like 2 a.m. She's very tired. And we got on this ride together, and I hit on her, and she thought it was cute, probably because she was delirious. And she gave me her number, and we started seeing each other. And you know, it was good. We saw each other for a little bit, and then she tragically moved away to better herself by going to law school, and so we separated, and we stopped talking to each other for a while. And then over COVID, what are you gonna do but get in touch with exes that you probably shouldn't? And we did that, and we started talking again, and now we've been together for about 2 years. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. It's a beautiful story. Someone at Hallmark is trying to turn it into a movie right now. It is, it is nice. I love my girlfriend. I will say, I do wish somebody had told me about all the dumb little arguments that come with being in a relationship, right? Like, I've learned, having been with my girl for 2 years, that if my girlfriend comes to me with a certain word, it's gonna start an argument, and there's nothing I can do to stop it, right? Like, if my girlfriend comes to me and says, hypothetically, nothing good is coming after that, okay? All that's coming is a dumb hypothetical question for which there is no correct answer to, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about. Hypothetically, would you love me if I was a snail? No, bitch, I step on you, but that's not my fault. You were down there, I couldn't feel your love, you know? Like, we do, we get in dumb, like, she called me once, she was like, hey babe, hypothetically, how would you feel if I got an OnlyFans? And I was like, well, listen, baby, I love you, I support you, sex work is real work. If you want to get an OnlyFans, you're welcome to get an OnlyFans, so long as I am your only fan. What are we talking about here, you know? It's not, but like, for real, we do be getting, sometimes, like, we had an argument once about, like, I told you how we met. We got in an argument once over who would play us in a hypothetical movie rendition of our relationship, right? Because here's the thing, she said I would be played by, like, John Boyega, and I thought I'd be played by someone more, I thought I'd be played by someone like Damson Idris or Michael B. Jordan, and your support is noted. And then for her, she kind of got mad at me because I was saying, like, I thought whoever would play her would have to be as equally beautiful and amazing as she is. But like I said, she's Asian, so the actress is probably Scarlett Johansson. And she didn't like that. She didn't like that. We got into it once, recently, like, heavily. All right, I'll tell you what happened. So, basically what it was I was out with some of my homeboys. We were at a party. She wasn't there, and I'm having a good time. I'm talking to people. Like, I'm outgoing and gregarious. Clearly, I'm a comedian, and I'm having fun. I'm talking to this girl, just having a regular conversation. Mind you, I've been out the game a year at this point, year and some change. I don't even clock that this girl is flirting with me until halfway through our conversation. Right? So what do I start to do? I start doing the good boyfriend thing. I'm like, thank you, no thank you, I have a girlfriend. And then this is what that girl said to me verbatim. I have not changed the word, verbatim. She said, I don't give a fuck. I didn't ask that shit. I'm trying to fuck. What you trying to do? And I was like, that is very aggressive. Thank you, no thank you. I have a girlfriend. I love her very much. And then she said this. She said, man, fuck that bitch. She was like, listen, I'm going on vacation next week. I'm going to Colombia. I will fly you out to Colombia with me and fuck you on the beach. And I was like, that is a good offer. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a great offer. That's a great offer, man. But thank you, no thank you. I have a girlfriend. I love her very much. I love her very much. I love her very much. I said it a couple times, and I want more for me than for her in that moment. And then she said this. She said, well, fuck it then. How about this? If you're so in love with her, how about this? I'll fly the both of y'all out and fuck the both of y'all on the beach. And at that point, you know, you got to look at the totality of the situation, right? Like, no, baby, I don't want to have sex with this girl, but that's a free vacation for the both of us. So I did the only logical thing I could think to do in that moment. I called my girlfriend up and I was like, hey babe, hypothetically. Oh, man. Yeah. I didn't win that argument. I will say, there are some great pluses to having a girlfriend, beyond just her being her and like having her presence around me and liking her. We get to go on adventures together. Like recently, we got to go to a wedding together. We've been to a couple weddings together, but the first one was the best. I got to take her to introduce her to some of my best friends. It was a great time. What I have learned from doing that wedding and a couple weddings with her is that when you show up at a wedding with your significant other, people feel very entitled to ask you on the status of your relationship, right? And it makes sense. They're seeing people who are in love get married, and so they see you two in love, and they're like, when are you two getting married? Shut the fuck up. That's when we're getting married. It's a destination wedding. The destination is mind your fucking business, okay? I remember at one of the weddings, it was like with some of my friends, and there were a bunch of couples that were our age that were married with kids, and these kids were running around the wedding, beating the fuck up out of their parents, just causing these motherfuckers stress. And without fail, every single one of these couples tried to sit me and my girlfriend down and convince us to settle down and get married, because misery loves company. And all of that served to prove to me my thesis that having kids is a fucking Ponzi scheme. It is. It's a Ponzi scheme, okay? And the people who try to convince you to settle down and get married are nothing more than that girl you knew back in high school that you lost track of in college, and then you come home for Christmas one year and you're in a Target and you see her and she's like, hey girlie, we haven't caught up in forever, let's go get some coffee. And so you do, and halfway through the conversation she's like, hey, I got a great business opportunity for you. You know, we've all been in them shitty multi-level marketing schemes, you know, those little pitches. They always have the same pitch. They're like, hey, we think you'd be great at this job I'm doing. We think you'd be great for my business. All you have to do is join my business and be on my team. And you don't even have to sell anything. Just by you being on my team, I earn money. And then when you want to earn money, all you got to do is get 3 people on your team to support you, and that earns you money, and that still earns me money. And then when they get team members underneath them, that earns them money, which earns you money, which earns me money. And that's our whole business model. And you're like, I took geometry. That's a fucking pyramid, okay? And the people who try to convince you to have kids use the same argument, right? All of those couples, they sat us down. They're like, hey, we think you should have kids. You should get married and have kids. And we're like, why? And they're like, listen, okay, so your parents, they had you and your brother, and you support them, okay? So you're going to get married, and you're going to have 2 kids that support you, or you're supporting them, and they're going to have 2 kids that support them, or they support you, and it supports your parents. And that's your family tree. And you're like, I took geometry, you turn that shit around, it's still a fucking pyramid. I'm not dumb. Yeah. I get it though. I get it. I understand. You're 30, you're like at a point where they assume you're an adult, you're 30, you're supposed to get married, you're supposed to have kids, and I understand. But like, I'm not ready to have kids right now, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not ready to have kids right now. First off, I don't eat breakfast every morning. I shouldn't be held responsible for someone else eating breakfast every morning, you know what I mean? But most important, I know deep in my soul I'm not ready to have kids right now, because I had a moment recently that let me know, that reaffirmed that belief to me, right? I don't have the little parental thing in my head that's supposed to let you, like, this is what happens. So I'm on the metro, right? I'm on the train, and I'm waiting for the train to come, and I see this group of kids out, and they're on the edge of the platform, and they're just leaning out on the edge of the platform, waiting for a train to come, just playing, leaning out, waiting to see the train. And I knew right then, I'm not ready to have kids. I didn't have the correct parental reaction to that, you know what I mean? Because if you got the little parental sense, the correct parental reaction is you see that, you be like, yo, my man, don't do that, because if you do that and you fall, you're going to hurt yourself. That was not my reaction. No, my reaction was like, yo, my man, if you do that and you fall, then the train going to be delayed, and I can't be late in this, my nigga. I'm on the red line. I can't be late in this, you know? And then, as if to add insult to injury, so the kids do end up leaving, right? Without me having to say anything, the kids leave. Train pulls up, and I'm waiting to get on the train, and I see this couple on the other side of the door, and they're arguing. You can tell they're just having it out, right? And the door opened, and all of a sudden, their argument filters out into the rest of the train station. You can just hear them. It's all types of bitches and motherfuckers. And they're walking past me, and they stop right about here. And the girl looks her boyfriend in the eye, and she's like, that's why you got a small-ass dick. And before I could stop myself from the bottom of my soul, I was like, what's a pity of spectacle? All right, y'all been great. My name is Jay Agbon. Thank you so much for coming to my fucking comedy special.
Well, I bombed, so you can do great.
I'm not saying you gotta go home. You do gotta get the fuck out of here. Let's have a good night. I'm gonna be outside.